Okay, so welcome back. So yeah, anyway, we got to the stage where I was telling him that bringing 7th century morality into the 21st century is nothing more than a profane thing. It's unacceptable. Right, having young girls for sex is paedophilia. Right, your prophet is God. You know, your righteous laws are pro-paedophilic. You know, I don't want that. Allah, right? It's disgusting. I don't want it. It shouldn't be imported into my culture. End of. And obviously you need to bear in mind as well that Naliakbars does live in the United States of America. And on the face of it rather, he comes across as a very reasonable, logical person, but as you can see, I'm starting to break down each of these walls that he puts up, you can see that he's just as evasive but in a different way. So anyway, he wants me to... He says, okay, so you want to go by facts to determine what is right and wrong. Yes, I do. As a believer in God, the fact is that God created us and told us to get married. In fact, a part of a marriage can lead to children, and definitely no one should be married until they are childbearing age. So being the facts as a believer in God, you tell me is not justifiable that a person at the age of puberty is ready for marriage. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying to you. I don't care what any... This is interesting, folks, right? I don't care what any psychologist or nutcase has to say. This is him. This is the voice of Muslim reason. Right? I don't care, he says, what any psychologist or nutcase has to say. I care what the teachings of God has to say. So if your God happens to say, go and fuck a 9-year-old girl, then it's fine. I don't care what every other Western law says about it. I don't care what psychologists, physiologists, you know, lawmakers think of paedophilia, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't care. That's what he's saying. My God is better than them. Right? Your God has no morals. Right? It's just not justifiable. Oh, anyway. So, he's saying that I'm still not producing me proof of yours from God. Everything so far you claim is not from the teachings of God. Are you following the religion of man or of God? Right. Anyway. He goes on to say that the teaching of woman has to be at the age of puberty before marriage. It's in the Sunnah. You read the stories of Aisha, yes, of course. And he says, you will find at the age of 6 she was engaged, and at the age of 9 she was married. Why? Because she arrived at her puberty stage, which includes her menses. And there are many hadiths that speak to her about having her periods as a sign of her puberty. Now that's interesting. And there are many hadiths that speak to her having her periods as the sign of her puberty. Right. I'm not responsible for culture, I'm responsible for my religion. So go to these toddlers being married and you will find that outside of this religion the practice is the same. So again, your claim of paedophilia is based on your own reasoning and not the reasoning of scripture. Right, that's exactly right. I'm saying, why do I need to go to ancient scriptures, right, and enforce those kind of morals into my society today? It's not compatible. Fucking 9-year-old girls and younger girls is unacceptable. It is disgusting. It's paedophilia. So anyway, we'll go on. It goes here, plain and simple, you're talking stages and all those things. There are instances where your body starts to change. Even me, being 27 years old, he's 27, I look at my body as compared to a 26, and there are now more darker hairs in places that you will get the idea. So, from the age of my puberty to now, what makes me any different than a 15-year-old? Yes, I have had many more experiences, that is for sure, but that still does not mean I can make a better judgment than a 15-year-old. Right? Here we go, people. A 27-year-old man is saying that he can't make better judgments than a 15-year-old. You are talking emotional maturity. What is the measure? Can you measure it? I can walk up to a woman 10, 20, 30 and take this factor and measure it. Right, we'll carry on. As for your medical development, friend, I know mentioned to you my great-grandmother was pregnant at the age of 9 and she died in her 60s. And my grandmother remembers going to the rice field with my great-grandmother who had 6 children, mind you. If her cervix was messed up, don't you think that none of these things my great-grandmother would have experienced? Again, you're deviating from the topic at hand. In the religion of God, is this wrong? If you are if you are wasting my time, we can talk about cricket or something. Right, I've told him that a girl of that age, 9, right, she is not fully grown. Do you not understand this? She's not fully grown. Her skeletal, you know, her skeletal form has not developed properly. It is still growing. Right, she might have been lucky, but her cervix was not fully developed. It might have been developed enough to carry a child and give birth, but it's not fully developed. Right, here you'll answer my question. There is no religious justification for your issues. Why do we go to the scriptures? No matter what faith you belong to, you believe your knowledge of God wants you to do comes from scripture. You modernise your faith, that is your problem, not mine. It is because of modernisation that God had to send multiple messengers because people deviated from the teachings of God. Do you believe in God or not? Right, so he's just saying that, you know, for all of modernity, you know, he's rejecting, you know, 21st century morals, 21st century laws, 21st century scientific facts. He's rejecting all of this, and this is what he's saying. Right? He's saying, why do we need to modernise? Yeah, let's go back to the 7th century. Let's fuck kids, it's great. You're disgusting. For God's sake, you're disgusting, man. Anyway, for someone who believes who claims they believe in God, for someone who is talking to me with regards to religion, who cannot provide me with a single quote from his religious text that says a woman can only marry after passing stages of puberty, to even think that they are touching my faith is God, is so silly. You are here changing your laws of God on a daily basis and upset because I maintain my belief. You must be, I understand Satan needs company and he gets people to do the work. So obviously I'm now Satan's minion, right? I'm criticising his religion. I'm criticising the fact that his prophet was a paedophile. I'm criticising the fact that Sharia law allows a Muslim man to take a 9-year-old girl, and even younger than that, for marriage, and then penetrate her in the act of sexual intercourse. I am wrong. So, okay, whatever. Right, and he also goes on to say, don't you think that it's rather unique that Islam has not changed the letter since inception? Whereas Jesus said to you he didn't come to change the law, yet you dropped circumcision, blah, 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 blah. For God's sake, I've been very clear about my beliefs. Gnostic, spiritualist, hello? I mean, how many Christians would you find today, or Jews that matter, who'd say, yeah, it's perfectly fine to fuck a 3-year-old girl, or it's perfectly fine to fuck a 6-year-old girl, or it's perfectly fine to fuck a 9-year-old girl, right? We live in secular societies. Hello? Secular. We are not governed by those texts. You are governed by them. That is what Sharia is, and this is what you're justifying to everyone. Sharia is not compatible with Western moral principles and laws and scientific fact, for God's sake. So anyway, I'm going to ask him these very simple questions, right? First, can we summarise your points? Please correct me if I'm wrong. 1. You champion Sharia and it's the best way to live. 2. A Muslim man, in your opinion, can marry and have sexual intercourse with a female even if she is younger than 9, as long as she has darkened pubic hair and menstruates. 3. You reject the existence of paedophilia. 4. You reject physiological scientific fact. 5. You reject cognitive scientific fact. 6. You reject science if it contradicts Allah. 7. A 7th century deity called Allah has better knowledge of the human body than a biologist of today. 8. If a young girl whose pelvis is not developed enough to give birth to her baby and she dies as a result, then this would be Allah's will. Right, that's what I'm thinking he's summarising to me. So now we'll go on to his answer to that, shall we? Come back in just a minute.